This is the gemstone cut and type for marriage. Not really. Not really. Okay, like just give it a rest. But okay, so I was like, look, I love these fiery refractive index, rainbowy looking ass fucking gemstones. And I'm like, if I put in the right kinds of like slight nano to micron size, like little, gems, and then I have a big refractive index. So it's like, look, I have to cut in a large amount of these tiny little freaking refractives. Tiny. But it's like, no, no, no. Okay, there's actually just there's slivers. Don't click off yet, okay? There's slivers that I cut in grooves along with refractive little stinking you know, cuts in it that are flat and that have like little gemstones as well that are throughout that then bend light because now it's more of a spherish E shape, very roundy sphere geometric thing, 3D, that has light come in and it goes, lots of rainbow fractals deep inside and as it comes out. It's like looking at with those little, the little spyglass things. I forgot the fuck they're called. Anyways, you move them over to the side, and oh my god, I'm tripping all of a sudden. I've got all the holographic geometric fractal patterns, and I'm like, that's really cool. What if I decide to put that in a gemstone? What if I just, a spheroidal geometric gemstone of several slivers, which by the way, they're not like normal slivers. These are like you have to slide them in, like you have to cut them in, you have to slide and then slot them down. You have to, slide, turn, twist, and then press them down and then turn, twist the other way, count like clockwise, counterclockwise, that way, that kind of thing. Anyways, point is, then it's like you layer it up, and then you get like, which by the way, it's not just that, okay, which would be nice, all right, because then it's done. No, no, it's not fused. That's the problem. So it's like it's got to go into a really, really fucking deep vacuum, real strong vacuum. We're gonna heat it up with the IRs and whatever fuck else, right? And then it's like we got to go do the zappities and then introduction of gases. And then we have to do zappities of the electron variety, okay, currents and volts and some magnetic fields of the fluxes. Okay, then we gotta hit them with some lasers the right way, and then it's like they fuse, welding gemstones together under lower pressure. Except technically, at a moment, it was not very low pressure, and it was the right chemical, you know, uh, bonding, ionic and or covalence, and so on. It happens to be like how that works. So anyways, but it's like, yes, now they are fused. That's how that works. They are fused, otherwise known as welded, otherwise known as a full complete piece. There's no way that you could possibly cut this and drill in of one singular little sphere thingy. You have to make multiple little tiny slivers and then cut things inside the slivers and then also make sphery things and, diamondy shapes and so on to be able to make this all work in the right way, to be able to have it refract like that inside of itself. Which effectively is like, that's why it's nano and micron. Well, most of it's not micron and nano. Those are very small amounts of things. They're there. They are there. I'm not gonna lie. Get out of here. I'm not lying to people. No, they are there. But there's a lot less of them. They're bigger, but still, steady hand and all that. Get out them steady meat paw, jiggle wiggle contractiwactor, strings of the meaty biologic organic compound variety. Get it steady. You know what I mean? And it's like, behold, this is the gemstone I wanted to make, like the cut. And I don't really know all of the gemstones because that's like there's so fucking many, honestly. But there's a few of them that'll work for this quite well, and they'll create a multitude of multiple rainbow fractiony, fiery kind of awesome cuts. Now, as for the band, though, the band's a whole other thing. Okay, the band's a different thing. All right, that's a combination of metallic glass and stretchy ass like silicone um mixture. I forget what the hell they call it. It's like it's the synthetic like rope string thing that they use for like really really high loads and tensions. Um I forgot what it's called, but it's effectively that impregnated into like metallic glass, which by the way exists. But also that's not all of that. Yeah, I mean, because then it's like we also have silicone, and I'm like, yeah, no, but not normal silicone. Silicone that's because it's polymerized, whatever the fuck, right? So it's like, what if I vapor deposit it inside of a slurry of metallic glass and the string while I zap it the right way, and then massively under tension compress it, and then wrap it, and then start weaving it. And it's like, behold, a brand new metamaterial. It is both insulative and stretchy, and far more strong than you think, and acts very similarly to, like, this shiny, shiny, mellow, stuffy thing until it gets, bent, and then it, just sort of stretches. It's very nice, and, it's like, oh, it's quite stiff, and then it goes, nope, after that point. It goes, yeah, I know, and then nope. Which is good because your finger will live if it gets caught on something, which was the point. You know what I mean? It's like that's the point to this, especially when it's actually several layers of several strings and several different suspension with a vacuum on the inside kind of design. There's a vacuum there, and then there's some like you know woven things around it, like a kind of like a hollow core, right? Is what people call it, a cord, right? But it's like no 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 no. They tension off of each other to the stone. It's a suspension bridge. That's right, it's a suspension bridge. The stone, once you place it in, is like a spring. It squeezes against it and then it widens and then stays stiff. And then is still bendy and can even slip, making it far more versatile. And it's like, behold, my marriage band. It looks dope as fuck because it's a cool rainbowy kind of translucenty, transparenty, fucking awesome fucking looking iridescent thing. Just like my fucking stone that's on there, which is actually several stones, but it's one real stone because it's fused. But anyways, and then it's cut so that way it's a rainbowy, translucenty, gray, fiery, refractive-y fucking like star that's shining a bunch of bright light that's always constantly having different fractal patterns come out of it. When you look at it, that's iridescent too, which is nice. It has depth to it. You bend in and you look a little closer and it changes. You look away, it changes again. That's wonderful. Same thing with the band. Behold, that's me, the creative concept guy, who's like, I wanted to build you the best looking thing that I like. This is me. Will you marry me? Meanwhile, I'm also polyfidelity, so it's like there's like several women there. I'm just like, here. I'm not gonna go fucking stupid. Are you kidding me? It takes a lot to make these things. Of course, I'm gonna fucking make multiples at once. That's so much cheaper, so much easier. Bulk it up. You know what I'm saying? Give me scaled, which is great. to any and all of your sizes. And the carrots are wonderful because it's like, how you thought it's only going to be the one singular kind of stone, and you can do that. But I was all like, nah, no, nah. What if I decided like it was like the star we orbit called Sun, and then we're over here on the Earthies, and we got a little moon guy around, and then like you know that's on there, but it's kind of in a slot groove thing that's in the elliptical orbits that we have, with a statically fixed orbit of the moon, which, by the way, happens to be a little more blue and green than the more shimmery white iridescent of the moon. This baby is big, though, I gotta admit. Look, the size of this honker. You can't even see. You can't even see. Look at, look at this baby. So mad. Look at it, it's big. It's belly. It's not gonna be that big. Are you kidding me? There's a ring pop over here? No. Here. Y'all thought. Y'all thought something that was totally unrealistic. Are you kidding me? No, we gotta size this properly. It's gonna be about the same size of like maybe four roughly of the coffee beans, average size of a coffee bean, stuck together into a circle multiple times infinitely over to the point where it's a sphere. That's right. Circle infinitely times over in all the directions. Sphere. But the reason why I said that is because, there's several layers there of circles. Anyways, when you look at four, maybe five of those beans, because volume and sphere, right, spheroidal thing, then it's like, all right, cool. It's pretty large, but it's not too ostentatious. It's a bit big. Because the band is not the thin. No, woman, you're not getting a thin bitch here. We like girth. We like oomph. We're all about the booms up in here. Anyways, the band's quite wide, but it's actually got a hollow to a hollow. So it's like these are hollow, and then it has a hollow actual like vacuum, and then there's intersecting woven structures in between that allow for that to now be suspension bridged. Think of it like I took a tube, I bent the tube into a circle. I then got another tube, did the same thing. I then put a tube around that tube, those two tubes. I then stuck some other tubes in between the tubes. And I sucked out the middle fucking tube that I created because of the tube around the other two tubes. And then all of a sudden, it's springy. Behold, because crisscrossy apple saucies. Like the metallic grass. No, not grass. Glass varieties. Which is literally what that is. It's a spring. All right. It's literally like it crisscrosses, creates the holding part. It actually doesn't get seen very easily because, of course, it's essentially just a totally transparent piece that really just sort of helps the uh, the gemstone do its fiery iridescent dance, right? But that's also why we have it wide. It's like if you look, it's like the orbit goes like this. It's quite elliptical, ovalish, right? And they have a little smaller one And so it has to be a little bit of and this has to be a little higher, and this should be a little lower, for and then it's tilted, right? For the orbit of the Earth, and then we got the little tilty of the moon, so it has to have some depth there. So now it's a bit of a longer, wider band. And if you wanted to keep and stay tilted properly and just constantly move off of the flexi of your fingers and pulsy of the heartbeat, so on, which is what that is because it's a Stirling engine. Yeah, I know. Shocker. What? Pressure differences, heat, movement. No way. What? Anyways, blue, green, iridescent, shimmery. It's got some white in there every so often. It pops up with the right light. There's some like cool sparkling halos at the top and bottom. These are all small nano and micron sized things, But anyways, point is, from that size of a star, the main actual kahuna, big bunker brass balls here, of the star. I then get what? A very small, tiny thing. Oh, incredibly small. Yes. Holy shit. Really small. Small. Right? Why is it so small? Do you know a lot? It's just like 20, 30, I don't fucking remember, thousands of fucking Earths inside of the star we are. It's like nothing. And then that thing's only like 0.6 gravitationally speaking. I don't know about actual diameter of like us in terms of mass. So it's like, that's going to be like lockstepped, always facing the same way. But, spinning the same, so it's cool. It's whatevs, right? Anyways, you're going to see it like spin in there at the same 24 cycle, of course, as it moves around. There's the same trailing motion of this thing called the refractive index of any and all light. Because, shocker, I'm not that guy. I'm a constructive and destructive interference. Not just light gets refracted. I'm the destructive interference to a constructive interference guy with this fucking sliver technology that turns it into, you guessed it, IR, microwave, radio wave. Go fuck yourself, your natural fucking awesome, beautiful light that I want. You're shining deep. Oh yeah, so vibrant. I'm all about that ultraviolet too, getting in there, and then you being able to see just a tinge of that in the blues. Just a smidge. Got to get that ultraviolet and X-ray, any gamma rays, which are really gonna maybe happen, but like at the very least, X-rays are gonna be, all that kind of refractive and constructively and destructively, because it's destructive, but it changes its interference pathway to becoming a lower wavelength during a constructive moment that's nearby. You know what that means, though? It's a lot more work than you might expect. This is why it's like, no, I know you have a cool cutting thing, but this is not what you think. And I do the zappity zaps and the gas thing, and then heat, and then there's laser zaps in a vacuum, cutting it very specifically with very, 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 very specific cuts and drills. And when they slot in together, there's now tubes and bending light into the nano size areas of fucking corrections and destructive and constructive interferences and lensing with all my cool, what is this shit called? Gems of the nano and the micron, and just a larger, but very small gem, really. It's not much larger than them, but quite small, really. They're like seeds. That's what they call them or something. Anyways, point is, now it's like, oh yeah, no, here, all of you. You think I'm gonna make one? Are you kidding me? You fucking knew. And luckily, it's able to be resizable. It's comfortable because remember the whole wide band thing, but also it's squishy. It's springy, but also squishy. It's still stiff. It has a lot of friction, which is great, right? But it's also stiff and, a little protective, to a degree, right? It's got breathable, holes. I have holes in them. It has to squish and expand in order for it to bend. Okay, it has to have these little, things called channels and, X's in those channels and all that to be able to, properly bend in multiple angles and holes that go through them so that way water and air goes through. It's easy to come off. There's no suction effect. Still has more than a friction. It's springy though. But it's like, Bahud, this is unique as fuck. No one else has this. Look how big the rock is. Look how many of the rocks. You got 3. There's no one else like my rocks that you've got. They're so shiny and cool. Bahud, the refractive goes through the band. Look how cool it is. It also happens to shine and be iridescent in multiple ways. Remember the whole shiny, iridescent, rainbowy, fiery kind of thing that I talked about for the band? Remember the metallic glass? Remember how you are like, no, no, I'm smarter than you, and then you were wrong? Well, guess what? You were wrong and I'm right, and will you marry me? Except not you. No, not you. You're weird. This one. This one that I like. These ones. All of these ones. Yeah. Boom. Not you. In your face. Who's gonna say no to like one of the best rings ever constructed? Like I get a couple of people to go, like, how do we find? I already kind of basically, boom. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fucking all the no's are gone now up in here. It's just crashing through your fucking goddamn wall. Bam. Like the Kool-Aid man. You gotta drink it. Woohoo! Since they're always like, you're a cult. You're a cult. I'm like, all right. There's the Kool-Aid man, baby. He's coming with the best ring ever designed. It's coming with all the shit. It's nice, ostentatious, but you can also turn it down. This is something I wasn't going to talk about, but you can do that. Remember that band? Remember that spring? Remember that slight slicing option? You twist it the right way. You squeeze it just a little bit there, and you twist. Guess what you get? All of a sudden, no fire. The anger is not what it is about. It gets absorbed and becomes more destructive in the interference. It does turn into a slight bit of vibration, which isn't much. It's mostly just IR, it's a microwave kind of stuff that comes out, and a little bit of warmth. Nothing you can't handle, though. It's never to get that hot, right? But behold, it's still going to shine. Most of it's still gonna. It's just shine the same. But the moment you do the right thing, and then oh my god, boom! Find me! I am trapped in the desert of the mountains. I am out here, please see my shiny ring. The one that he gave me is above all the others that have ever tried. This is why I love him. Please find me. I can have a search beacon. I shall place it on something shiny behind it, and then I will beam it over there. I'm just gonna beam the fuck out and just over that way. I shall get a stick with 2 sticks that branch off. I then point it in between. That's how I need to know. As that's where it's going. I shall survive to get back to my man that I love. You damn right, yeah, bitch! We're gonna do this! I'm gonna fuck that pussy again! Oh yeah! Oh, I love it. I love it so much. It's like, that is the ring. The gemstone cut in type match. For me, this is how I would want to do it. Or here's a piece of string. And then I shined it on this one side right there. Though I kind of made it a bit bigger. And then I shrunk it with a little bit of silicone. I pressed it into a mold, let it cool. Now it's squishy, but it has a little bit of stiffness. But it's all good because it's shiny where you want it. There you go. Same effect, really. You know, it's quite obviously practically the same. Anyways, you can tell. Yeah, that's a whole thing. But anyways, I was thinking about this from all the way back when I was living with my parents in Chandler. It's like, man, if I was gonna get a fucking woman a ring, well, I want to do it my way. I don't like the vast majority of how rings and gemstones are cut or set. This is weird. They look kind of okay at best, neat sometimes, but they've all been done. It's boring. Behold, the only way to get the best fucking kind of fire there is. In gems, right? They call it fire, apparently, refractive stuff. It's quite hard, of course, because of course there's diamond, you know, it's what that is. But still, you know, it's that thing where it's intersected with all the fiery meson something or whatever, and then you gotta get the deep blue of some sapphires, you know. You gotta get the greens, you gotta get the reds, some ruby. You gotta get the purple over there and some yellow and some diamond. What is that thing over in Russia? There's like a purple one that's in Russia. It's a lavender pink purplish. It's real fucking like stupendously rare. Except synthetically, then it's really easy to make. Anyways, and then it's like, right, so what's the green? Is it gonna be another sapphire? I was thinking really clear emerald. Yeah, that old fucking bag of bones been a long, long time. I got the magenta now. I got the yellow, the red and green and blue. I got all the refractives. And they all happen to coincide with IR, microwave, radio wave, ultraviolet, and X ray interferences at very small scales, which is why I picked them out. Hey, hey, indeed, suck it up. But, you know, at the same time, uh, there are other ones I can combine for what it's worth. You know, so like that might be the right call. I'm not like a gemstone expert. I'm not, you know, that. But at the same time, it's like, yes, but there's this other one that's like, it's called the TV stone. And this one, it doubles effectively all the light coming in. Like those are two different types of stones that effectively play around with light really well. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use both of those in this too. But they're really needing to be inside because they're quite soft and I don't like it. And so it's like, behold, the outside is quite hard. Behold, the inside. It's a mixture of hard and soft and many things. With vacuums, and the gas is really just something there that helps it fuse and refract and so on. Gundam slut! Oh my god, the bifurcation of this light! Oh my god, there's a bell curve of predictability for constructive and destructive interferences, of luminosity and variance of the wavelength varieties. It's almost like it's puzzle piecing together something that makes this effect happen. No, that can't possibly be the case. Oh, actually, wait, no, yes, it can. Okay. Behold, my big, not even remotely ostentatious, quite understated, really, looking quite dapper for any of those chic women's out there. Even the goth club that wants the big wide bands. Oh my god, I'm unique. I'm in the preppy, quite rich club. Nobody has something quite like this. It doesn't brush against my knuckle. Nothing's poorly done. Everything works beautifully. Oof. Love it. Beheard. A ring for any and all ages, any and all statuses. What do you know? It doesn't really technically tell time. It doesn't really. Although I have tuned it to tell time for what it is worth, but that's the whole thing with the Stirling engine as it will rotate on a 12-hour cycle, along with a minute arm, if you will, of the moon. Now, well, they are small, they're not impossible to see, but they're quite small. But the thing is they're quite bright. So it's like you don't really necessarily need to see them, but you know where they are. Because they're quite bright and then they really show off exactingly where they are. It's almost like I have a minute with the technicality wise based upon the way that the light comes out second by second with the 12-hour cycle watch as a ring that also mimics our 24-hour cycle and our orbit. Of course, it doesn't give us the orbit for a whole year because that's going to be something. But I have in 24 hours 2 orbits of years. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I could suppose I could tune that, but I'm not going to because that's kind of weird. Uh, I'm not going to do that. But I suppose I could do like a little slidey thing around the orbit thing, and then that gives me a 12-hour as it orbits slowly, but then it changes as it's refracted. It's light stuff, but then it's really more about the fact that that's a Stirling thing, and that Stirling thing will then move on the 12-hour or 24-hour cycle that you want, and then give you your seasonal and everything else as a regular watch stuff, while still giving you the orbit position and point in time and space of us and all the rest of the possible combinations of solar eclipses and so on that the moon and the earth does in their lovely dance together. Now, I called it the symbolic because, I'm polyfidelity, right? It's symbolic, though. It's like, if you don't know, there's two of you orbiting the big guy, eh? There's one real small one orbiting the other, big guy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's not really. I just wanted to throw that out there because some fucking stupid crack armchair, like little fucking psychologist was going to say that. Like, is this what this is? And I'm like, oh yeah, no, sure, absolutely, it is. Yep. Instead, it's actually nope. No, I just like astronomical stuff, right? Now, granted, there's a whole other thing to do with how like the tube and how they're placed in their setting and how the Stirling engine works. That is very thermodynamically and quantum stuff. So like it uses a degree of a electrical charge and floating magnetic stuff, which is a quantum phenomenon for what it's worth. Um, and for it to work as a Stirling engine, it is, and still properly do it accurately. While you get to see the macro-ish of us, the ring, and all that. So it's like, behold, the largest scales, but also the smallest of the scales that have to make this work. And also, oh yes, it's just symbolic of the largest scales, which is the stuff that makes us up. That's the real symbolology thing. Okay? That's what I wanted to do it for. Hey, look at my cool ring. It's oh right, the band sizing. Right, that's a slidey thing. So you remember the tube thing and the cord thingy? So it can slide a little bit. It can widen and it can shrink and all that stuff. I know. Darn! I'm not able to fucking hate on that. He didn't say anything about that. It can also shrink the total thickness width of the band in multiple areas, not just like, from like it's wide over here where it's facing people, and then a little thinner, and then it gets kind of, whatever towards where the palm is. All right. I can do like little waveguides, a little bend and crown types of things, all that. And so, like, it can be made to fit you and look for you the best in your dress and, aesthetic properly, along with still being comfortable. So there's that. It's like, no, we already make this. That's not this ring. His ring sounds way better. I'm gonna search for fucking clock rings with gemstones using sterling stuff. They have fire or something. Oh! Oh no! So you're not as good as I am? Says this person that's trying to search online for these rings versus, oh, hey, there were all those people that made that. That's really great. No, but they're like, I'm better than you, and this is not unique, and all this stuff. When they're using your stuff to try and do it. Talk about imposterish levels of the needing to be a syndrome of the inferiority complexities going on there. I need to be better. I need to put everything that's down that you were doing that's unique that you came up with by yourself with no fucking input from anyone else. You're not that special. What did I say it was? Oh, I suppose I can be. Let me just say that. I'm special. Of a different type. The good kind. Not you kinds. Me kinds. You kinds are bad. Suck it up on that one. Anyways, then it turns into, no, those are really cool, but I prefer the thing that I'm doing just because it's like I'm looking for this specific effect. That's it. Those are still really cool. They're incredibly, in an impeccable amount of ways, amazing. Right? But it's like, yeah, but it doesn't have this, doesn't have that, doesn't have this, doesn't have any of these things that I want, that I desire, that I need, that I want to present, that I want to make, that I want to do. So it's mine to them instead of, no offense, great maker. It's awesome, but I want to do it myself. That's me. I want to do this to show me to this person and how much I care and love them. I don't want to buy it. I want to make it and build it. I want to show forth the effort. That's what that is. So there's that. Anyways, still, they're cool. It's not this. So, anyways, this is the gemstone cut and type for marriage. From me to you. Bye. Still have to resume this. I said bye. Suck my dick and balls, like and subscribe. Hit that notification and please share. Bell, bell, bell. Woohoo!